Why is everyone you know running a marathon? You've seen it on your timeline, every Instagram post, and now we're coming up on marathon season. And people you didn't even know ran have apparently run for. The girl in your chemistry class from high school, yeah, she's ran 3 half marathons. The guy from cross country who ran literally every single day, he's done 5. And your best friend's cousin's boyfriend has been training for one all year long, and he's racing this May. And if you're not running a marathon, you're rock climbing, you're doing spin, or you're doing Pilates. And let me tell you what, girl, I'm here for it. I love it. If you thought this was gonna be a hate video, you're wrong. I just want to answer the question and also speak from somebody in that life stage who has also fallen in love with those things and just wants to find their community or people interested in this community to be able to talk about it. On the real, it is funny and sort of an epidemic, if you will, for lack of a better term. Since graduating and reconnecting with some of my friends or even conversations amongst my current friends, everybody is dabbling in some sort of like workout genre or trying things, reformer Pilates, mat Pilates, hot yoga. I'm just curious, why is someone like me who literally did PE all of high school to avoid doing a sport, who played soccer for 3 years and gave up, did volleyball for a year, someone who I wouldn't consider myself naturally athletic, why is something like running piquing my interest? About a year ago, if you would have asked me if I would have run a marathon in my life, I would have said no. Even when I did start running, I was like, I would never do that. Like, I literally feel no pressure, no desire to run 26.3 miles. Why? Why would anyone put themselves through that sort of torture? And now it's 2025 and I'm slowly feeling the interest. All of a sudden it's become like a bucket list item. Like, why? Where is this coming from? These are some of the topics that I'm going to cover with timestamps. So if you want to skip, if you don't want to hear me yap about other things, please feel free to click on one of these here and let's get into it. So obviously exercising isn't new. Running a marathon isn't new. All these sports that I said aren't new. But if you are just entering your 20-year-old life stage or whatever during like the past 2 or 3 years, kind of like me, it kind of feels like a revelation. I always knew my friends' moms like ran marathons, they did hiking, they did like cycling. Now that I'm an adult and I actually have the capacity to like make those decisions for myself, all of a sudden it seems like way more interesting. It's kind of like when you start liking mushrooms and it's like, when did that happen? The first reason I think people are running is for discipline. Running is totally a mental game. I always used to think that people had to be built as runners. You had to be born a runner, like your family lineage has to like include every single race and milestone and cross-country expertise for you to actually be interested in that. And while that may be true, I am a strong believer that anyone is capable of it if that's really within your bandwidth. For most people, I feel like it is. The discipline to push yourself and run a little bit further, even if it's like 1 kilometer and you've never even ran like 3 minutes in your life, you're capable of doing that. The discipline to wake up and try again and commit to something without anyone pushing you is a really cool way of trying to tap into that in that aspect of yourself. When you're able to be physically disciplined, I feel like that trait bleeds into other areas of your life. For example, if I've already stretched the muscle that tells myself that I can reach a little bit farther or run for a little bit longer or go the extra distance, that skill is transferable in other areas of my life. When I'm doing job applications and it's really hard, I've already stretched that muscle in a physical way, and so I feel a lot more confident stretching that in a mental way. Being a part of a sport, whether it's running or pickleball or something like that, having the discipline to show up, to keep trying, to be consistent in it is a skill that shows up in a lot of other areas of our life and is good to practice in a physical way. Second, I feel like as an adult, participating in sports is a lot less common. Obviously, when you're a child, we all play soccer, volleyball, baseball, where as an adult, now that you have your own resources, you have your own interests, it's cool to commit to something that you feel like is sustainable for you. And I'm gonna more specifically talk about running because that's my interest. As a sport, running is technically low budget. All you need to do is go outside and run. It can be on the treadmill, it can be in a park. It's not something that you really have to buy a lot of equipment for in the beginning. You can just do it anywhere and it's pretty affordable. I think what's also cool about running is that it can be a solo or a group sport. It's something that you can do on your own and also invite other people to join. I think running is cool because there's a lot of variations. There's short distance running, long distance running, races, leisure. You're really just competing against yourself, and I feel like that's what makes it fun and inviting. As an adult sport, I feel like there's just a lot of room to grow into it. Even if you start running at like a 15-minute pace or you're walking for most of it, once you build that muscle and you keep trying, your body can get better at it. And if it's not physically getting better at it, mentally you are strengthening some aspect of your brain. Third point that I was touching on is the community. Like any sport, it's pretty communal, even if it is a solo sport, because other people are also interested in that sport. I love run clubs and run talk, running YouTube videos, any discussion that involves motivation, because it's usually not always about the technicalities of the sport, but the different aspects that it takes to even put yourself in that environment. Every step in running is an achievement and is to be celebrated, and it's awesome to be able to have a group of people who understand what it takes and have also probably been there themselves. Everybody starts from somewhere, especially in running, and once you find that solidarity in a group that is local to you, or maybe if you travel, you can always find other people who have also participated in that lifestyle and know what it takes. And my fourth point is that I think it's just cool. It's a small percentage of people that are able to say that they've ran a marathon. Again, all things considered, I think it is awesome to know and acknowledge all the people who have done such an awesome feat. It takes so much training. It's not like something you can just wake up and do. Even if you do, I don't know how healthy that is for your body. But I think it's just an awesome milestone. It's crazy to see what your body is capable of and all the different things that you can do if you really put your mind to it, not to be cliche. I love that as humans, we just like invent random things for us to do. It's so cool that we just get to do these fun things, and it's not even necessarily like for a specific reason. Sometimes it's for a cause, which is good. But I love that there's just like no metric on running, even though there are a lot of numbers and paces and distances. At the end of the day, like it doesn't really matter. Everything that you do, like I said, is an accomplishment. Just being able to set your foot on the pavement and try is already just such a large milestone. And to run a race, whether it's a 10-mile, a half marathon, a full marathon, a 100-mile race, I just strongly admire those people because I know that more than their physical capabilities, a lot of preparation went into that mentally, emotionally, in their everyday lifestyle. It's a big commitment, and I just think it's really, really cool if you haven't gotten my gist from that. So I wanted to talk about my perspective on running and my running journey because I feel like it's just helpful to take ourselves off of short form content and actually have like a bigger discussion about what running is, because I think I've seen a lot of people say that the running community can be very toxic. I would consider myself a slower runner. I run like an average of 8 to 9 minute pace, and I can run a 7:30-ish pace. I'm still working up to that. I've been running for about a year, not consistently for the whole year, a majority of the year. I feel like I have learned a lot about myself, about the sport, about the community, and I just love it overall. My desire to run was purely curiosity to see if I could do it. I always thought it was so cool people were able just to like do that. I always just thought, okay, like that's not me. I would try a few times on the treadmill, get itchy, and just be like, all right, like that's obviously not suitable for me. Last year when I was in London, I decided to sign up for a 5K. I don't even know how I heard about this run club, maybe like on TikTok or something. Signed up for a 5K, no practice whatsoever. I think I ran like 2K before the event just to like warm up. And when I ran, I was literally the last one to finish, and two of these girls were super sweet and they finished it with me, but I was literally the last one to finish the race. However, I thought it was just so cool how many people showed up for the event, and the girl that runs the run club, I'll put her information in her run club here in London. She's also a slower runner, and I just felt so seen in that community, and I actually felt like, okay, this is something that I can do. So since then, I decided to try it very, very leisurely, and I think it's just been fun. It's fun to explore it. I tried running with different apps and different tools just to like see what I was capable of, and now a year later, I'm picking up running again. My goal is to run a marathon in 2026 or a half marathon. If any company would like to sponsor that next year, I am available for that. I would love that. That would be amazing. And I never thought I would hear myself say that because I always felt running a marathon was such like a big thing, super out of reach, really far away from me. But as I talk to more of my peers and their parents, I realized a lot of people I know have actually participated in different races, and I just feel like that is so inspiring. From going to having no idea about the sport to now having a desire to run a marathon and trying to commit to a feat like that is honestly such an accomplishment for me. The fact that I'm able to test my ability in this area and see if that's something that I'm interested in makes me want to give myself a pat on the back. I feel like I've picked up a lot of hobbies, I've tried a lot of sports, and never really seen through it. I never felt like I had something that was like me, or something that like Amanda was like particularly good at, or that people would associate with me. I decided to take up running because I felt like it was a sport that didn't have any strings attached to it. It wasn't anything that I was committing to anybody else. It wasn't anything that someone else was expecting me to do. It was literally an indicator for myself and a reminder of my personal capacity. So in my last video, somebody asked me to create a beginner runners starter pack, and I feel honored that someone would think I'm qualified to be able to talk about that. So I'm going to share a running starter pack that works for me, what I did, what I'm still doing because I feel like I'm still a beginner. I'm going to say that the first thing you need to invest in is shoes. That's purely so you don't injure yourself. If you don't have the right feet equipment, especially when your feet are doing a big load of the work, you're going to injure your knees. Go to Roadrunner, go to ASICS, get a gait analysis test and figure out what your foot is like. I learned that I have overpronated feet, so I needed shoes that like would cushion the inside of my foot so that my knees wouldn't experience so much pressure. So I got shoes that were under like $60, maybe $70. I bought them in pounds, so I don't know. I'm going to put them on the screen here. I've had them for over a year and I haven't put too many miles on them since I haven't been running consistently, but love them. They work really well for me. Also, I'm going to de-influence you right now. You really only need 3 to 5 pairs of bottoms. Until you commit to the sport, don't invest in like all this like fancy like running gear. Have some leggings, have some shorts, use a washing machine. There's a lot of stuff on like Vinted and Depop. And if that's really not your cup of tea, go on over to Marshalls or TJ Maxx, get some nice inexpensive leggings, a top, a sports bra, and try it out for a little bit. Then the second tier I feel like is getting a vest. I like getting a vest because it holds like my phone, and then for my longer runs it'll hold like little snacks and like gels and things like that. You can also subscribe to an app, or a free alternative is the Nike Run Club app. It's not personalized, but it has a really good guide and it's lighthearted and a lot of different like runs on there. Strava, just to track your progress. I know they have like a 30-day free trial or like 2-week free trial where you can create like your own route and play around with it and try different things. And then the third app that I really like is Runna. You can try 2 weeks for free with my code here. It's an amazing app that lets you create a personalized schedule, a personalized training program. I did it for my 10K last year, and I feel like it's really fun because as you run more, it's not just like getting up and like going. There are a lot of different style runs, tempo runs, intervals, and that app trains you with all of your personal metrics, and it's going to create everything customized for you. Not sponsored, I just love it. Anyway, I hope that was a fun, helpful conversation. If you liked my video, if you liked what I talked about, please feel free to subscribe and let me know in the comments how you feel about what I said. Enjoy the rest of your day, and if this video inspired you to run, girl, go do it. And I'll see you in the next video. Deuces.